All right, so I was skimming through the presser for Billy Donovan and Arturas kind of showed us. I really didn't care too much of what Art had to say. I really want to talk about BD. Um, like I said in my video yesterday, um, one of the emphasis on this team is going to be rebounds and defending, and they have to be emphasized because they simply don't have the parts that would naturally, take care of some of that, so you don't have to focus so much on that. And you have to cover up your weaknesses to some degree. They're still going to be there, but you have to put as much effort into being as neutral on that end as possible. Side note, that's why I get irritated when I hear a lot of people talk about DeRozan not being able to shoot 3 pointers, or Lonzo not being able to drive and attack the rim, or Zach LaVine on defense. Yes, some of these things are true, but you still have to try and work and invest on those things to get better at it. If you just say, hey, you're never going to do these things and don't work on it, they won't improve. So when I see people say Lonzo isn't good in the pick and roll in the half court, which is bullshit, or DeRozan can't shoot threes, or Zach LaVine can't D up and stuff. To me, it just gets on my fucking nerves and stuff. But to be these point, if they took the same mentality that they have for some of the players out here, the same way, like, oh, well, you're not going to defend anyway. You don't have the parts, so you don't have the rebounders. So why defend a rebound? I mean, what kind of, like, why would you go out there and even try to play the game then, right? And I've always been a person that says, no matter what, you never take something away from a player completely. What you do is you feed them a steady diet of it, so they get acclimated and get more comfortable doing it. And then as they get better at it, they're able to do more with it. Okay, if you completely take something away from somebody, they're never going to get to use the skill anyway. Um, Back when I was an EMT in the Army, one of the things they used to tell us is all this stuff is like a skill, like, a skill, if or a muscle, I should say. If you don't use the muscle gets weak, and in order to prevent that, you have to constantly, enhance and train your skills. Same thing applies here. So I like what I heard from Billy Donovan in terms of, okay, yes, we're gonna have to put a focus on defense and rebounding. And again, we could talk about how important those things are in general to the game, but more importantly, and I've stated on my channel multiple times, for the style of ball that Lonzo has to play, or that Lonzo wants to play, you need rebounding and you need defense, because they put you in positions to do that. So if you don't play good defense and you're taking the ball out of the net, how are you going to get into transition? And if you're constantly giving them more attempts to take shots, you're not getting the chance to get into your offense, which means your defense is steady showing up, and they're going to get worn out on that end. So you have to focus on these things. Besides, you get the rebound, now you get the run. That's the transition. That's where Lonzo kicks in. That's really where your athletes are at their best, is when they can just hit different spots on the court. And if you got shooters, when you got a guy who's fast with the ball like Lonzo or Zach, if they go and attack the basket and you got someone pulling up from range, they can't give up the easy bucket. The three is the bucket that they're willing to give up, but they can't let you just get the easy dunk. So they're going to collapse or go straight to the rim to try to stop you. That's where your shooters are best. So Billy Donovan understands, look, if we're going to be a good team in the way that we need to play, we definitely need to be a monster on the rebounds as best as we can. Even though we understand, look, there's nights where we're not going to be able to do that. You still got to try, because the effort you put in will pay dividends in the rest of the game. Same thing with defense. But again, this is a loop. This is like rock, paper, scissors. You play defense, defense leads to getting rebounds, rebounds leads to getting into transition, you go back over and repeat it. Defense, rebound, transition. Defense, rebound, transition. Period. And that matters. That's good understanding of the game, and a lot of people, I don't think, picked up on what he was trying to say. I've been listening to channels and no one is talking about this. He is letting you know what the emphasis of this team is going to be. And even he said it. You can't expect the offense to be flawless and perfect every night. So guess what? You're going to have to win the games in other ways. Guess what? That you can affect defense. You can affect rebounding. Put bodies on the board. Commit to guarding your man. You know what I'm saying? Help defense is going to be important for this team. I promise you that. And I know they got some defensive-minded guys off the bench and stuff, but hey, they're not all the best offensively. Yes, we want to get those guys in positions to score as well. But the bulk of the stuff is going to be done by the starters, Caruso and Coby White. So we're going to need these guys to be committed to that. First and foremost, they're going to have a complete understanding that this is how we're going to win basketball games. Now, let's also keep in mind, he also stated that Lonzo was going to be the point of attack for defense. He's going to be on the ball. So I imagine we're going to see some full court Lonzo, which to me is the best Lonzo when it comes to defense. Have him harassing guys, all the way picking up the ball, the entire length of the court. I think that is the absolute best version of Lonzo. First of all, Lonzo is long. He's tall. 6'6" guard when you're going against Steph, Dame, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, all these other smaller guards. They're going to have a hard time getting around his length. And the minute they are forced to pick up that ball, guess what? Now someone's got to come and help get the ball, which takes time away from the fact that they get to run their offense and set up their plays. So maybe instead of getting 2 cracks at a good look, maybe you only get 1 crack. That's good defense right there for your team. You're helping your team by limiting the number of times they actually have to sit in half court to get into those possessions, which is, again, that helps your team. I like that. I like that he said that he thinks that not just Zoe, but DeRozan and Zach can all be good on-ball defenders. I agree with them. You have to commit to that end. And when you got enough guys that can put the ball in the hole, look, you don't need guys to go out there every night and put up 40, 50, 35, 30 points, okay? You could probably win games with everybody just scoring like 15 to 17, and you're just playing incredibly good defense and limiting possessions. It's one of those things that irritates me about modern basketball fans is that we don't talk about the importance of defense and rebounding and passing of the ball. Those things are organically a part of the game. The more rebounds you get, the better off you are. Hell, even on offense, you get more rebounds, you get more opportunities to get a shot up. And it takes away opportunities. A rebound is basically this: ending a play for the opposing team's offense or extending a play for your own team's offense. To me, if you can't be a good offensive team without good rebounding. They're one and the same. Because the minute you get the ball, you say, I got offense now. That's what it means. That's literally what it means. So if we're going to talk about people scoring points and getting, shots up, we need to talk about rebounds. But kudos to Billy Donovan for bringing this conversation up or bringing it to the forefront. Like I said, a lot of these guys, your YouTubers and stuff, they're not talking about this stuff. But you know what? I was listening to some analysts last night, and they mentioned how important rebounding is going to be for this team. Some of these are vets who have played with guys like Mark Jackson and Avery Johnson back in the day. Very good point guards and stuff like that. And they're talking about these little aspects of the game. See, pro players understand how important these things are. Pro players especially. Back in the 90s and stuff especially. But modern day people like you and I, the viewers, and some of these other guys, they don't talk about the rebounding and stuff like that. It's just a stat. It's just a simple stat to them. But kudos to Billy Donovan for bringing this up. I think this is very important for b-ball conversation. But for the most part, he let it be known. He didn't talk about the offense. He didn't spend much time on offense because he already knows that's going to be a work in progress anyway. They're going to have to figure that out on the fly, which they will. But he understands, hey, if we get them running, look, Lonzo's going to find an open person. We got the athletes. We're going to beat them down the court anyway. That's an advantage for us because if we beat them down the court, there's less opportunities for them to actually stop us. If we get a 4-on-3 situation, we're going to win that most of the time. We just got too many good athletes. But, that's all I really got for right now. I just wanted to kind of touch on that from the Billy Donovan perspective. And I'll do more of these later today, but I really need to get started with my route. Matter of fact, I had a parent that just pulled up. So I'm gonna catch y'all later, and I'll have another one for y'all in a little bit. Peace.